Viewer discretion is advised.
Ole, 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 ole. Happy fuck the Cubs day. Shit is fucked up and stuff. Shit is fucked up and stuff. Every fucking time.
Sure, go ahead. Can you hear me? Uh, no comments. Oh, and by the way, good morning. I'm not interested in his wife. I'm not interested in what he does with his wife or without his wife. Not interested. Good morning, Brian. How are you this morning? There's no topic. Just chit chatting. Just regular chit chat. Well, true. But I give a person an opportunity to respond back before I say something. You know what I mean? Actually, I'm fixing to play a video.
You remember the cop who decided to still put and attack a dog flying individual? That cop has been fired. That cop should be charged. Let me remind you of what happened. Here it is. Hey, that's a dog. Come to me. You don't want bit. On the ground. You're gonna get bit. Come to me, man.
Do not let them. Don't release the dog. Do not release the dog with his hands up. Release the dog with his hands up. Do not release the dog with his hands up. Don't. Do not. Get the dog off of me. Get the dog off of me. Get the dog. Get out the dog. Get What do you mean? I gave you 3 warnings. Did I not? Just 4 of those. Did I not say? Did I not say final warning? You're getting out of the dog. Next available rollback. Left front tire on the.
What? All right, put it up. Now, I want to remind everyone, the officer who has command is the one who says, don't do this, don't release the dog with his hands up, meaning he is in compliance. He's in compliance. It also means that some would deem that action to be illegal. I certainly deem it to be illegal. We reported on this from day one. We have been giving you the updates as they develop. Ryan Speakman, the Circleville 9 on an unarmed black truck driver, has been fired, according to a statement from the department. Now, I want to remind everybody, it is not the city who responded to they called in for backup because the truck did not immediately stop. So when they call in for backup, that backup goes to the local jurisdiction that you are either going through then or about to go through in a few minutes. The local jurisdiction, they command. The person saying don't do this, it was almost as if, let's put them back up. It was almost as if Officer Ryan Speakman said, I've brought out this K9 and I'm going to use this K9 no matter what. That's what it seemed like. Mayor Don McKilroy on Monday told CNN Speakman had been placed on paid administrative leave prior to his termination. Let me read it. Department said Circleville police officer Ryan Speakman's actions during the review of his K9 apprehension of suspect Jadarius Rose on July 4th show that Officer Speakman did not meet the standards and expectations we hold for our police officers. Officer Speakman has been terminated from the department effective immediately. As you recall, the 23-year-old Mr. Rose was bitten by the K9 on July 4th. Put him up. Now, let me remind everyone that initially the officer was defended. They defended the cop for his actions, talking about the local jurisdiction did. This was following a lengthy vehicle pursuit that began when officers pulled over his commercial semi-truck due to police alleging he failed to stop for an inspection because of a missing mud flap. During the police chase, Mr. Rose called 911 and told dispatchers officers were trying to kill him and he did not feel safe pulling over the truck. Rose repeatedly told the dispatcher he was confused about why he was being pulled over and why police had their guns drawn after he briefly stopped the truck before driving away. Now, when Sharon Reed and I talked about this story, Sharon said something quite interesting and actually normative. Sharon said, listen, I've been driving in a large before with music on or headphones on, and I did not hear or could not hear anyone behind me beep the horn or use sirens. Now, obviously, it's not the best way to drive. I've done it before myself. But there's a reasonable explanation possibly. We do know that he was not charged with anything else. We do know that it made no sense that he was running. And we do know now that he actually called 911 and said, listen, I don't know why this cop pulled out of him. And you got to think about the context here. He is seeing multiple jurisdictions. It's not just one cop behind him by the time he realizes what's happening. He sees probably 2 or 3 different jurisdictions following him at the same time. And he's in a rural area. He calls 911. He's afraid. There's more. The police department's investigation into the incident included a determination by a use of force review board that actually determined the agency's policy for the use of K9s was followed in the apprehension and arrest of Mr. Rose, according to a statement from the agency. So you see, they actually supported him.
This game, you're not ready for it.
And in an irony, the police chief or the department, by way of the police chief, had to override this particular review board and say, no, regardless of what your findings suggest, this man did not meet the qualifications and standards of this department. There's more. The department's statement added, it's important to understand that the review board is charged only with determining whether an employee's actions in the use of force incident were within department policies and procedures. The review board does not have the authority to recommend any discipline. Shallow Creek Canals, the Pennsylvania-based facility that trained the K9 involved in the incident, said their training and protocols were followed, police said. Speakman is later then in the video speaking with a state trooper about the incident. I think it's a justifiable bite, he says. The Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association filed a grievance on behalf of Officer Speakman, saying Speakman was fired without just cause. The union asked the department to rescind the termination, pay and reimburse the officer for all lost wages, seniority and benefits lost, resulting from his firing. expunge his employee record of his termination history and or any further relief necessary to make the grievance whole. Look at that. They said, okay, the man puts a canine on an innocent, complying individual who did not deserve to be apprehended in such a manner. He violated command on the scene. In order to do so, his department says he violated exacting policy of this department. Who has his back? The unions have his back. Police unions say, oh, no problem. The place that trained the K9, they got his back. Why? Because cats like him are good for business. There's more. Let me give you a recap of the status of Mr. Rose, who was bitten by this K9. Rose was treated, was eventually released from the hospital before being taken to the county jail, according to a case report from Ohio State Highway Patrol, which notes he faced a charge of failure to comply with an order or a signal by a police officer. A 4th-degree felony. Now, many jurisdictions have upgraded 4th-degree felonies and made some of those misdemeanors now. He was released from custody July 7th. The county prosecutor's office told CNN, adding the office is still collecting evidence before it determines whether to move forward and charge him or not charge him. At the end of the day, I don't know what charge you get. It was a traffic stop. Safe to pull over, failure to pull over. It could be a perfectly reasonable explanation as to why he was confused about what was happening. But everyone should agree he did not deserve to be bitten by a canine while on his knees and his hands in the air. Jackson, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you pointed it out just right. The reason that the dog was released is because, well, I brought it, so I might as well do what I came here to do. It's really not any more complicated than that. And two, you know, when it comes to police dogs and canines like that, you would think that they should only be used like if the suspect is on foot, very far away, maybe in difficult terrain, and you have to catch them, and they're very dangerous. Obviously, maybe carrying weapons or carrying something that's of danger to the community around them. Otherwise, he was surrounded. There were multiple police officers from multiple jurisdictions, like you pointed out. And at the end of the day, when these types of situations go down, it's always surrounded over the police state defending its authority. That's all it's ever about. We have the right to be above the law, because if they're not above the law, then they won't be able to get away with all of, the egregious things that happen continuously. So, you know, at the end of the day, he got bit because that's what the dog came there to do.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
We shall see if charges are filed against the cop. We're talking about charges against the brother. He's the individual who should not have been victimized. There's only one victim here, possibly two. Obviously, the man who was bitten the dog and the horrific
War Thunder, the military online action game, has received this year's first major update. The branch of Unique South.
Number 1, Florida cops arrest illegally blind man. In a recent incident in Florida, a visually impaired man found himself in a truly terrifying situation when he was mistaken for carrying a firearm and subsequently placed under cuffs. The event unfolded on October 31st, 2022 in Lake City, west of Jacksonville, on a foggy and overcast morning when drivers were using their headlights. The officer stopped a man named James Hodges, who was returning from jury duty, after observing him enter a crosswalk against a traffic control signal.
The navigational aids. What's the problem? You a tyrant?
Yeah, I am actually. What's your name and date of birth?
According to the arrest report, Hodges appeared to have a silver chrome pistol with a white grip in his back right pocket. However, upon closer inspection, The object turned out to be his folded up navigational aid, which he used as a cane. The body camera footage captured the encounter as one officer, identified as Deputy Jamie Goad, approached Hodges and started interrogating him about the item in his pocket. Hodges explained that it was his navigational aid, but the officer expressed suspicion and was insistent on verifying that it wasn't a firearm.
I can't see it. You don't have to be a dick to me.
Hodges questioned the reason for the stop, and in response,
Doing my job.
Am I detained?
Yeah, you are. What's your name and date of birth?
Deputy Goad escalated the situation, accusing him of being armed and making threats of arrest. Hodges asked to talk to the officer's supervisor, who was also present at the scene. Sergeant Randy Harrison joined the conversation, and instead of listening to Hodges' concerns, backed up his subordinate, saying that the navigational stick could very easily be confused for a weapon.
Sir, and her suspicion was that you were armed, okay? And she's asking you for your ID.
He continued to argue with Hodges, saying that Deputy Goad's suspicion warrants that Hodges provide her with his ID, and failure to do so would result in him getting detained. The encounter took a disturbing turn when both officers decided to handcuff and arrest Hodges, despite confirming at the start of the whole interaction that Hodges was not carrying any sort of dangerous weapon. While he was getting cuffed, Hodges asked for both officers' names and badge numbers, leading to additional unwarranted charges.
I want your names and badge numbers.
1257 on Nick 65 Florida 27. All right, Mr. Hodges. Was that hard?
It's gonna be. I want your name and your badge number.
I put him in jail for resisting.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Following an investigation into the incident, the Columbia County Sheriff's Office determined that the officers had committed policy violations. Sergeant Harrison faced motion and a suspension without pay for 7 days, while Deputy Goad was also suspended without pay for 2 days. Both officers will undergo remedial training on civil rights. Sheriff Mark Hunter said that the officers' actions were not driven by ill intent, but rather by frustration and a failure to rely on their training.
As sheriff, I take full responsibility for this event and want to extend my sincere apologies to Mr. Hodges for the actions of my deputies. I do not feel these deputies' actions were guided by ill intent, but rather by frustration and failure to rely on their training.
Nevertheless, he emphasized that such conduct is unacceptable, and steps will be taken to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future. James Hodges' partner, Rutha M. Jenkins, expressed her shock over the incident, noting that once the officers realized it was a cane, they should have understood that he was blind. The incident has left Hodges and his loved ones deeply disturbed, and they feel that the officers involved should have shown more care and consideration. Hodges spent more than 24 hours in jail for charges of resisting an officer. A month later, he filed a lawsuit against the sheriff's office for monetary damages. His attorney, John Phillips, said that his client was unlawfully arrested.
This is an aid to a man who's legally blind.
People normally think of federal civil rights cases or police cases in the form of shootings or death. And certainly, that's the case we take. But we've got to stop the systemic abuses, said Phillips. To have accountability on the small cases stops issues in their tracks before they become big ones. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office, however, had not provided further comments on the matter at this time. If you think this encounter got out of hand, wait till you see our next story, where a black military veteran got profiled and then arrested for supposedly growing weed on a nearby property. Number 2. Cops arrest black military veteran for allegedly growing marijuana. In West Virginia, 2 deputies are facing a lawsuit over alleged violations of the civil rights of a U.S. military veteran. The incident unfolded when the deputy stood simply refusing to provide his name.
The only way you survive this is working together. Leaning on each other.
According to the complaint, the incident occurred on August 7, 2020, when 3 African-American residents of McDowell County were subjected to what they describe as unlawful and outrageous racial profiling, harassment, and retaliation solely based on their skin color. The deputies accused Donnie and Ventress Hairston of cultivating marijuana plants on a nearby property owned by someone else. Civil rights lawyer John H. Bryan, representing the plaintiffs, revealed the details of the incident. He stated that the officers harassed and intimidated the Hairston couple.
These two homes is near that marijuana grow, so I'd just like to have a name.
They were sitting on their front porch, Jason Tart, the couple, in a false arrest. The officers allegedly prevented the Hairstons from witnessing and recording their misconduct, and they even physically forced them inside their homes. Body cam footage and commentary released by the attorney shed light on the events leading up to the arrest. In the footage, Ventress and the officer to feel more.
I think it's important that we're actually new here.
She expressed her disbelief that they were being asked about growing marijuana on their property. Despite the couple's denial, the officers reportedly continued to intimidate them.
Are you growing marijuana? That is preposterous to me.
Is just a question, man.
Yeah, well, I get that. And so then my only question to you is your names, just so it's okay in my own heart and mind. And when I say the season we're living in, you know the season we're living in.
The deputies informed Tart that he is required by law to provide them with his name and date of birth.
Well, sir, I'm going to need your name and date of birth, and I have that.
feel comfortable giving you my name and date of birth.
Okay, well, this is a criminal investigation. You own these two homes, so by law, you do have to give me your name and date of birth, sir.
If he gives you a reason, you do.
Prevented them from doing so.
You two go inside. Go inside.
I'm afraid.
Go
now,
inside.
I'll tell you the truth.
Go inside. No, go inside as of right now.
Tell me why.
Go inside.
What are you doing,
Step off
man?
the porch. Step off the porch.
I'll step off.
Go inside.
What are you doing? This is unnecessary for
Sir,
you to be
go
doing
inside.
this. He's standing on his own porch.
Go inside.
Don't come in my hand.
Go inside. Step back. Go inside.
Look,
Thank you.
that's completely uncalled.
The arrest occurred when Deputy Martin physically seized Jason Tart, took him to the driveway, and placed him in handcuffs.
Walk to the
Don't
vehicle, sir.
put
You're
your
being
damn
recorded.
hands on me. I give you no reason to touch me.
I'm going to arrest you then. Place your hands behind your back.
Uncalled for.
Place your hands behind your back.
Put your hand behind
Place your hands behind your back.
Listen,
Just relax, okay?
listen. You
relax.
Place your hands
Okay.
behind your back. Please place your hands behind your back.
My hand is behind my.
Place
That
your,
only
behind-
takes one of you.
place your hands.
Look, let him do it. All right, hands off.
Eventually, the obstruction of justice charge against Tart was dismissed by a McDowell County Magistrate Court. The lawsuit filed by lawyers representing Jason B. Tart and the husband and wife, Donnie and Ventress Hairston, claims that the officers racially profiled the veteran and suspected him or his family of growing cannabis on their property. The legal action was initiated on Tuesday, August 9th, 2022, and it targeted deputies Dalton T. Martin and Jordan A. Horn, who are employed by the McDowell County Sheriff's Office. Additionally, the lawsuit also involves James Boomer Muncie and the McDowell County Commission. The plaintiffs argued that their First, Fourth, and 14th Amendment rights were violated, and they are seeking a trial by jury. The lawsuit contends that the officers lacked probable cause to make their warrantless arrest, and they allegedly engaged in malicious prosecution as a form of retaliation against protected free speech. Jason Tart and the Hairstons are seeking compensatory and punitive damages in the lawsuit. They also request that the defendants cover their attorney's fees and costs if they prevail in the case. If you want to watch more videos of cops acting like tyrants and abusing their power, then please subscribe to the channel.
Released video shows a police drone monitoring a freshly carjacked vehicle in Ramsey County, Minnesota. Video
right there, huh? That's it, that's it. Cut. Any reason you guys filming? Who are you? Working. Huh? Working. I know, but who are you? Security? Sidewalk security? Sidewalk security, yeah. Oh, okay. So what does that have to do with me, though? I'm just trying to see why you filming our business. That's cool, man. Thanks. Huh? Appreciate it. All right. You got an issue with this company or something? Issue with this? Trying to get the scene, man. Trying to get the scene. I don't know what's going on with you. What's going on? Huh? I'm trying to be disrespectful. You want to know what's going on? Cut. Got background interruption. Got visual. Open gate, 3, 2, 1, action. Huh? You're not a driver, but make sure that. Don't put the camera. Don't put the camera. Put the camera. I told you don't point at me. Don't touch me. Got it? Put the camera. If you want to point at me until I say that, you're not going to tell me what to do, dog. You're not. I'm not the one, dog. No trick. So this guy right here, why are you causing a problem, man? Yeah, you are. Don't fucking put the camera. It's already pointed at you, man. Don't fucking put the camera. Don't put the camera. Don't put the camera. Don't put the camera right here. Stop with it. Come on, man, relax. I don't know why you're getting so crazy. Is that a threat? Hey, just to this area, you guys. That's how the employees act here? You guys good? Just because you want to get injured out. So is this car? That's his car. Came in all hot, dude. I got it. He came in like he was going to attack me with it. Dang. He was talking. Yeah, right, man. It's locked off, man. You know damn well nobody's going to come in here. There was a car coming in, and this guy came directly at me, man. Which guy did you check? Is that you? Just make sure you guys are not in this area right here because we want any truck traffic.
Well, we could be wherever we want, man, just as long as we're not trafficking. Has that happened?
Right. Which is what I'm asking. Just this area right here.
I know, but has that happened yet, or why are you giving me a warning? Are we impeding traffic? Did we impede traffic?
Just steer clear of this, and you guys.
Yeah, man, like I said.
I'm not saying I'm giving you permission. You guys do what you guys do.
Until we impede something, you can't come out here and correct it, man.
What you guys do?
I cannot ask you no questions, man. This is an investigation. Does this guy get off? Hey, what time you get off? What time you get off? What time you get off? You said you get off at what? What time did you get off again? What time? Just tell me. Hey.
Why did the camera get so hot? What you guys do, Jeff? I just want to check out you guys' video.
It's crazy, Maniac. You guys know pedestrians have the right of way, though, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Even if this is a driveway, a freeway,
absolutely. No, but
you know,
trucks can't see you guys sometimes. So
it doesn't matter, man. Pedestrians always have the right of way. That's why.
Just be aware as we're coming in.
That's why you got a California driver's license or whatever driver's license you got, right? Because you're responsible, and you're responsible for that vehicle, whatever happens. The vehicle's not responsible. You're responsible.
The drivers.
Exactly.
So we're just trying to prevent any sort of opportunity where that.
And if you're a manager here and these are your employees coming out like a bunch of thugs, you know, running into this guy with his car or whatever he did, you're liable for that, man. He's on your clock right now.
You guys.
That's it, man. You're dismissed.
Yeah, I'm just curious. All right. Just be careful around here, guys. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you.
You gotta be careful when you take a shower at night, man.
Yeah, you too.
You know what I mean? You gotta take a shower when
we got big trucks coming here.
You gotta be careful when you're driving down the 405. You know. You gotta be careful from a falling tree. You know what I mean? Sick. What time? What time?
Goals aren't just planned for the field, they're planned for life.
Cara? Yamachu? Huh? Dang. I'm not. Sex on. He purrs like a kitten. Good. This kid came in like flying. Yeah, blocking the driveway with the V6.
Get off the
You're gonna love it, right? Hell yeah. There you are. You gotta move the V6, my boy. Delete that V6 from the, my boy. Hey, reckless driver. Delete the car from the scene, my boy. You gotta delete that car, my boy. Hey, reckless. Delete the car, my boy. Now. Delete the car. It's blocking the sidewalk. Delete that car, my boy. Now.
Making it harder for him to come in.
You're reckless. There goes the front end. There goes the front end. Yes. Yeah, he missed.
Lucky he's a good driver.
Delete that V6, my boy. Sick ass fool. You're reckless. Delete that V6, man. He's sensitive. Sensitive like a hyena. Hey, don't be so sensitive, dog. Delete that V6. Damn. Purrs like a mouse. Is that down? Oh, don't point the camera towards me. Don't point the camera towards me. Says the guy walking up to the camera, putting his hand up. You know what I mean? Very good. Yes. Action.
Myself. My day. Is it the D? It's the D way.
The D way.
No.
Isn't it? Very good. Inshallah. Is that all of a sudden Shaduli shows up out of nowhere? What is the problem? No. Slower. Slow down. Slow down. Yo, Daddy, sir. Yo. Daddy's here. Hey. Let me in. Hello. Halamela. Yeah, he likes the halamela.
That's him.
That was it? Name and badge number, sir? What? You talk to the wind much? Or?
Get ready for epic battles in the multiplayer action game War Thunder. Become a legend of the battlefield. Pilot.
Yeah, we need to report this guy to the new chief, huh? To the new sheriff. Rude. I thought the sheriff was here to take cops, man. You must be on the list now. Identify yourself, man.
Identify yourself.
Identify yourself, coward.
What's wrong with you, man?
Why are you hiding your name?
Greg, can you hear me? All right, well, hey, thank you for stopping by. I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing anyways. I'll catch you on the flip side.